Have you ever thought to yourself when you're reading Matthew 24, when Jesus starts talking about Noah, that that line from Luke 17 when he's talking about Lot escaping, how come that's not included here? The reason it's not included is because it doesn't fit in to the story Jesus is telling the four disciples on the Mount of Olives when he's giving this Olivet discourse. Because here, Jesus is saying when he comes, he will send his angels out to gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other. That means the entire planet. But the thing is, he doesn't know when it's going to happen. Only God knows that. The Father alone. But he knows that this generation will not pass away until everything he just said takes place. And just like Noah, he's saying everything will be fine. And just like Noah, until the flood came. Jesus is telling them in their time it will be the Roman army. They didn't understand when the flood was going to happen. Noah and his family. Just like Jesus is saying, they don't know when it's going to happen. Jesus doesn't know when it's going to happen. They don't know when it's going to happen. Until the Roman army comes in. And when the Roman army comes in, the abomination of desolation, you need to run. Don't even grab your coat. Just run. In Noah's time, they didn't understand until God came up and said, get in the ark. And then the flood came and raised them all. Now, in Noah's time, they were raised. But Lot and his family were not raised. They walked out on their own feet. Right? They were not raised. So what Jesus is saying here is that when you see the abomination of desolation, you need to run out of the city, or you will be destroyed, like in Luke. But here, the analogy is different. It's later. It has a different focus. Jesus is saying, after all this stuff, because in verse 15, that's Luke 17. But we're not talking about Luke 17. We're talking about Luke 24. And at this point, Jesus is saying, I don't know when it's going to happen, but just like the days of Noah, everything will be fine. The army will come in. You won't know it until you see it. And then the angels from 31, just like Noah, will raise you. Noah was raised in the ark because of the water. You, the four people I'm speaking to, will be raised by the angels. That's why Lot, that line about Lot, is not in here. Because that's not what Jesus is saying. He's not talking about destruction. And Lot wasn't raised in some way.